today's program of study. It is like when you climb the Himalayas, you just see one hill in front of you. You thought that is the highest Himalayas. You climb that hill, then another hill shows itself up. Then you climb that. This is the last. No, then another hill. I have myself seen how many times you get deluded. You are just going on, new heights, until you reach that which is the highest, the Mount Everest. In experience also the same. Ordinary experience, higher, more subtle, until you come to the Mount Everest of experience, the infinite Atman. That is the passage to which Sanat Kumara is guiding Narada, step by step. And Narada is eager to learn. If that is not the highest, tell me what is the highest. I want to know that. He is telling, step by step. He says, now we come to the Bhuma idea. There are two, three more steps are taken. They are not so very important. There is Vijnana, there is understanding. That is higher. There is understanding. That then one speaks the truth. When indeed one understands, then one speaks the truth, says chapter 16. Without understanding, one cannot speak the truth. It is only by understanding that one speaks the truth. Understanding, however, has surely to be sought after. He said, Narada is just getting more and more subtle in his understanding. Yadava ativadati, the word ativadati, this one indeed transcends speech. Ati means beyond, vadati is speech. You transcend speech. Who transcends by virtue of realization of truth. Said it earlier. Venerable Sir, I want to transcend in speech by virtue of realization of truth, he said. Truth indeed has to be sought for realization. Venerable Sir, I seek for the realization of truth. Narada said, that was in 15 and 16, 7, 16, 1. After that comes this, Yadava Vijayanati, when indeed one understands, then one speaks the truth. Therefore, I seek after understanding. This understanding will take you reflection. First you must reflect. When one reflects, then indeed one understands. Without reflection, one does not understand. One understands by reflection. But reflection has to be sought after. I seek after that, Narada immediately said. Then you must have faith before you start on reflection. So have faith, seek after faith. I would like to have that faith, he said, Narada, that conviction. Faith is the conviction that the thing in question really exists. That's a very fine definition by Shankaracharya. Shraddha is astikya buddhi, that there is, just like there is fish in the lake. I have not caught it, but it is there. With that conviction only you go to fish. If you know there is no fish at all, you are not going to fish there. There is a conviction there is fish. You have not seen it. You have not caught it. So similarly, the unseen exists. The unknown exists. That is the primary faith, without which not even physical science can take a single step. Every scientist must have this faith. Henry Poincare, in his autobiography, has written how much faith plays in the discovery of scientific truths. So Vedanta also refers to this idea of faith. There is truth hidden in this world. The seen world is not the only thing. The unseen exists. The unknown exists. That positive faith you must have. Then you begin to search and you discover. As in physical science, so in Vedanta. Faith plays a very great part along with reason. They are not contradictory. One reinforces the other. And now he says, when you must have Shraddha, the conviction. But when you serve devotedly, then one becomes endowed with faith. Service of the teacher or parents, all that does produce faith in the heart. Without serving devotedly, one does not acquire faith. One acquires faith by devoted service. Only devotion is surely to be sought after. Then again he says, I want to seek that. Nishtha, steadfastness in service of the teacher for acquiring knowledge of Brahman. Then one acts, then one indeed serves devotedly. Behind that service is action. So action is still more important. Without acting, one cannot serve devotedly. So I seek for true action. There. Then finally comes the last in the line, in the relative world. And that is, yada vai sukham labhati, atha karoti, na sukham labdhva karoti, sukhameva labdhva karoti, sukham tveva vijijñāsravyamiti, sukham bhagavo vijijñāsa iti. Finally, the teacher said, that is chapter 21, opening verse, when one gets sukham, happiness or joy, then indeed one acts. Without getting joy, one does not act. Having got joy, one indeed acts. But joy indeed has to be sought after. You must seek for it. Then Narada said, I seek for joy. He said that action too occurs when you get this joy. When that subject came, what is this thing called sukha, joy? Now comes the real Vedanta, the highest level of Vedanta. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukhamasti bhumaiva sukham bhumatveva vijijñāsatavya iti bhumanam bhagavo vijijñāsa iti. In verse 1 of section 23, you get the statement, that which indeed is the infinite, that is joy. Bhuma is the word for infinite, bhuma. The other is alpa, small. The other is bhuma, infinite, two great words, alpa and bhuma. There is no joy in the finite, in the limited. There is no joy. The infinite alone is joy. But the infinite indeed has to be sought after. Venerable Sir, I seek after the infinite. Ultimately he came to this level. Innumerable sukham. Whatever is below that is finite. Everything is finite. That one is infinite. We have to realize that. Na alpe sukham asti. There is no happiness in that finite, because finite is a cause of thirst for more. When the thirst is for more and more and more, that is happiness. Continuously we are hungry for more and more and more. Hence bhuma eva sukham. Infinite alone is happiness, because the infinite cannot be the cause of thirst, which are the seeds of sorrow. What exactly is sorrow? Some feeling of emptiness. We want to fill it. Just like in hunger, we feel something is empty. We want to fill it with food. Similarly also, the sorrow. Infinite alone can end all sorrow. Yatra, then he defines what is infinite. Yatra nānyat pashyati, nānyat shrunoti, nānyat vijanati, sabhuma. The infinite is that where one does not see anything else, does not hear anything else, does not understand anything else. There is no second thing. In that state alone, you have this state called bhuma, where alone happiness, the very source of happiness is there. Atra yatra anyat pashyati, anyat shrunoti, anyat vijanati, tad alpam. There. The finite is that where one sees something else, hears something else, understand something else. Yo vai bhuma tadamritam atha yadalpam tanmartyam sa bhagava kasmin pratishtata iti sve mahimni yadiva na mahimni iti. They are all very profound utterances, beautiful commentaries also you get here. How the human thought is proceeding from very ordinary to extraordinary heights. That's what you can see in the Upanishads. It says, that which indeed is the infinite is alone immortal. The finite, on the other hand, is mortal, subject to death. Today is, tomorrow is not. Infinite is what is truly immortal. Venerable Sir, on what is that established? On what is infinite established? He is asking the question. And the answer comes very beautifully. In its own glory, or not even in its own glory. What to speak of infinite being established, there is no second thing. It is itself, in its own glory, it is established. That way. The infinite is really na anyat pashyati, not see something else. There is no duality, no separateness. There is nothing else with which you can compare. So the word Advaita comes there. Advaita, no two, only one, no separate. The whole idea is taken up by Shankaracharya in a very lucid commentary. So, on what is it established? The question. In its own glory it is established, the answer. Or not even in its own glory. It cannot be explained at all. The glory of the Atman, glory of the Infinite One. And now comes the nature of that question explained further. Go ashwamiha mahima ityachakshate. In this world, what is the mahima of any person? He has got so many horses, he has got so many cattle. That is the condition in those days. Man's wealth is measured in terms of cattle, horses, etc. So, go ashwam iti mahima. I do not mean that kind of mahima, he is telling. This mahima is merely passing things you possess. They go, you also go. Where is mahima there? There. Hasti hiranyam, elephants. Then gold. These are all mahima in this world. I have got a lot of gold in my house, or I have got habits in elephants. Then also it's a great mahima. I did not mean that kind of mahima, he says. Hasti hiranyam, dasabharyam, he says. So many maids to help, and wife is there, husband is there. Kshetrani, plenty of land. 100 acres, 1,000 acres of land. Ayatananiti, nahamevam pradimi. I do not mean this kind of mahima. Hyovacha, anyohi anyasmin pratishtita iti. This is because that is something that is different. Stays on something that is different. This mahima depends upon that mahima. That mahima depends upon this mahima. I do not speak of that mahima. There is no comparison in the mahima I deal with. It is incomparable. Therefore, there is no second thing on which it can depend upon. A rich man depends upon his possession. That is his mahima. Possession goes, he also goes. His mahima goes away. Say, in this world, one's glory consists in cows, horses, elephants, gold, a slave, wife, fields, and houses. I am not speaking like that, because something that is different stays on something that is different. This he said, but I am speaking thus. Now he is telling, I am going to tell you exactly what the infinite is established in its own glory. Then how is it said that it is not established? There is a question. Yes. Sa evam asastat. This one, this infinite, where is it established? The answer comes here. He indeed is below. He is above. He is behind. He is in front. He is in the south. He is in the north. He is indeed is all this. He indeed is all this. Yes. Sa evedam sarvam. That is it. Hence, after that follows the instruction with the help of the ego. We spoke of something, the infinite, as if infinite is something apart from you. No, he corrects it. You yourself, you are that infinite. Yes. How? I am indeed below. I am above. I am behind. I am in front. I am in the south. I am in the north. I am indeed all this. That is the truth. Not Atman is not something apart from me, a second thing. Then it is absolutely unreal. So the word Atman must refer to yourself. I am that. So when the teacher says, you are that, you are not seeing something so far away. I am that. That is the answer of mine. I am that truth. I have realized it. Now in India, if you say this, people honor you, respect you. But in dualistic religions, if anybody says this, he will be killed. One mystic said it in the Middle East, I am the truth. And he was immediately killed by the Muslim theologians there. He cannot speak Anal Haq, famous statement. I am one with God. I am the infinite one. When he said it, he was killed. But here, that is the highest realization. So, I am indeed all this. The word I there has a different connotation compared to what I use it every day. I possess a horse or a house, that I, and I am indeed all this, are not the same. This is incomparable. The infinite dimension of what appears to be finite. You and I, little soul in us. But really speaking, this is the infinite one, hidden within this body-mind complex. It's established. Everything is there. Arhata Atma Deshaha. Now comes the teaching with respect to the self. Not something out there. Whenever you say Brahman, something away, some about the sky, that feeling we have. Even in language, you say, oh, wahan hai, wahan, Brahma, oh, uttane dur hai. Aisa bolta hai. But in Vedanta, it is here only. Nothing far away there. Brahman is far, Brahman is near. To the ignorant, he is far. To the knowing one, he is near. Athata Atma Deshaha. Eva Atma Eva Atastat. Atma Uparishtat. Atma Paschat. All that was said regarding the infinite is now said regarding the Atman. The instruction with the help of the self. The self indeed is below. The self is above, behind, front, south, north. Indeed, self is all this. Anyone who sees thus, reflects thus, understands thus, revels in the self, that tremendous sense of joy will be there. He sports in the self. In Buddha's book, Life, you will read, after he realized his enlightenment, the joy in him was uncontrollable, tremendous joy. For 7 days walking up and down under the tree, infinite joy within. That's the nature of that experience. The little joy that we get in this world is, according to Taittiriya Upanishad, a particle of that joy of Brahman. This is also Brahman joy, but coming through petty little holes, a little bit, that's all we get. But that is like an ocean, infinite Atman. That is a great utterance of the Taittiriya Upanishad. Etaseva anandasya matram vajivanti. All this world lives and enjoys taking a particle of this joy of Brahman, Brahmananda. That is the real Ananda, infinite and non-dual. And Buddha realized it. Others realized it. What is their joy? Imagine. Infinite joy. So we must realize that what we have is only just a little. That's why it is finite. That's why we are unsatisfied. Even little joy we get, we are unsatisfied. Even 5 rupees we want 10 rupees, 100 rupees, goes on everywhere. Then comes the search. What is real happiness? In the infinite alone you are happy. Seek for the infinite, and that is your own self. You have not to seek anywhere else. You are that infinite. It is a foolish thing for the infinite man to go about like a beggar. So Shankara gives the story in that Chandogya Upanishad commentary. The son of a king, a prince, went hunting, lost his way, and he began to live with ordinary cowherds, etc. A cowherd life. He forgot he was a prince. He was brought up long after they discovered him and told him, you are not this cowherd, you are a prince. Father is old, he wants to give you the kingdom. You are the owner of that great kingdom. He couldn't understand at all that statement. Ultimately he realized the truth, gave up that limited functioning, and went and became the ruler of the state. That story he takes. We are all in the same way. We do not know our true nature, which is full. But as it is, we are empty. We are trying to fill it a little, one drop from outside. We are trying to fill a little joy, a little joy, a little joy, like that. So he says, he is anyone who sees thus, reflects thus, understands thus, revels in the self, disports in the self. See the language. Has union in the self, has pleasure in the self. He becomes a sovereign. That is real sovereignty. There. Atma Uttara, Atma there. Evam Vijnana is Atma Krida. See the language Sanskrit. He becomes Atma Krida. His Krida is in the Atman. Atma Krida, Atma Mithuna, Atma Ananda. Such Swarat Bhavati. Swarat is sovereign. He alone is sovereign. He alone is free. Now, 45 years ago, we got political freedom. We are now sovereign and free, we say. Compared to what we were, we are certainly freer today. But real freedom will come only when we attain this kind of state, or we proceed in that direction. The Atma Ananda and Atma Krida. And similarly, here you have this Swarat Bhavati. Tasya Sarveshu Lokeshu Kamacharo Bhavati. Wherever he goes, he is always full. Whatever he wants, he has. Atha ye anyathato viruho anyarajana te chayya loka bhavanti yesham sarveshu lokeshu akamacharo bhavati. That is the highest state. This is the ordinary one. Who hears freedom, those who understands otherwise than this, comes under a different ruler, is always subject. The sovereignty doesn't come to that person. He is always subject to A, B, C. That means no freedom. Comparative freedom is there. Among the unfree people, I can be more free than somebody else. But the whole set is unfree. Real freedom comes only through this realization of sovereignty of the self. Those who understand otherwise than this come under a different ruler, belong to the worlds that are subject to decay. They have no freedom of movement in all the worlds. That is the static condition of those who have not realized the sovereignty of the self. That alone is sovereign. Everybody understands that. Even a mighty king, plenty of power, he knows he is nothing compared to that person who has realized the Atman. He is a child compared to him. What is this power? 5 minutes it can go. A little portion in his food, he is finished and gone. What is this power? But that is something coming from understanding your own true nature, which you cannot alienate by any means. So inalienable freedom is true sovereignty. All the rest are alienable. You can remove it, you can destroy it, anything you can do. So political freedom we see every day happening. Today a king, tomorrow is dethroned. How many kings have been dethroned? Either dethroned or even head is cut off like Charles I in England. So these are all sovereignty of a very, very limited nature. But real sovereignty comes from this knowledge of the self. I am the infinite one. I am one with all. That is Swarat, real Swarajya. Swarajyam is the language Vedanta uses, and we use it in politics also. This is the difference between discriminating people, non-discriminating people. Discriminating people will get a little sovereignty. I said, is this really sovereign? Let us become better sovereign. What is that higher type of sovereignty? First is external pressure is removed. The British have gone. We are sovereign. But are we really sovereign? Today we don't feel we are sovereign. So many other kind of pressures are coming upon us. Then we begin to think. That thinking is what the Upanishads want to initiate. Have we really become free? Is this the whole of freedom? To be handled by a few ministers, a few officials here and there. That's all freedom we have. Instead of the white, there is a brown ruler. That is all the difference. Now this kind of questioning will be initiated by the Upanishads. Ultimately, more and more people thinking in this way, more and more people developing self-sovereignty, they will strengthen democracy. Democracy makes for sovereignty of the citizen, not sovereignty of the ruler. What Gandhiji said, my concept of freedom is not that A will be replaced by B at the top, but the people will have the power to resist both A and B when they do something wrong to the people. That is the people's sovereignty. We don't have it. So that is purely a political concept, but it reflects the spiritual concept of sovereignty. Sovereignty is sovereignty. Every type of sovereignty is welcome, but there is always a better and a better and a better. That's what people should not forget. Simply because we have got political freedom, or we have got enough money to eat without depending upon anybody, I become sovereign now, and don't stop there. That stagnation must be avoided. That stagnation does come to people. What you call samsara is that stagnation. Stagnation at a particular level and never proceeding further. Upanishad says, continue. Try to understand what is true sovereignty. Then you will come to this teaching. I am the Atman, ever pure, ever free. I am one with all. The whole universe is only my own expression. So that is the highest sovereignty. Tasya va etasya evam pashyataha evam manvanaha evam vijanataha atmatha pranaha atmatha asha. Now all that we finished earlier, from nama up to asha and prana, all that will be included in the Atman now. They are all bits. This is the totality. So of that man indeed, who sees thus, who reflects thus, who realizes thus, the vital force springs from the Atman. Hope springs from the Atman. Memory springs from the Atman. Space springs from the Atman. All that we finished earlier are repeated here. Fire springs from the Atman. Water springs. Food springs. Understanding. Meditation. All this springs from this Atman. Mind springs. Everything. All these indeed springs from the self. They love. Evedam sarvamiti. Atmatah evedam sarvamiti. Everything comes from the self. The infinite Atman. The little joy that you have here. I eat food, I feel joy. What is this joy? Just a particle of that infinite joy. Later. This is a shloka. Now comes a shloka. Tadesha shloko bhavati. Na pashyo mrityum pashyati. Na rogam nota dukkhatam. Sarvam ha pashyati. Sarvam apnoti sarvasha iti. Sa ekatha bhavati. Tritha bhavati. Panchatha bhavati. Saptatha navatha. Chaiva punasya ekadashaha. Mritaha shatam cha dasha cha ekascha sahasrani cha himshati ahu. Now a series of beautiful utterances come about that state. Here is a verse with regard to that. The man of realization does not meet with death. He is immortal. Nor disease, nor even sorrow. The man of realization sees everything, attains everything in every way. Fulfilled is the word. He becomes one, threefold. fivefold, sevenfold, ninefold. He is called 11, 110, and 1020. Going on, you can multiply any number. Now comes a great utterance. In 3 small lines, you get the whole of spiritual life expressed. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi. First statement. Sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. Second statement. Smriti lambhe sarva grandhinam vipramokshaha. Third statement. The whole of spiritual life is compressed in these 3 lines. What does it say? This. From the food that goes in, ahara means what you take in from outside to inside. It is both physical and mental. Physical food must be clean and pure. Mental experience of the world also must be clean and pure. When this becomes pure, ahara becomes pure, what happens? The mind becomes pure. Mind is composed of these things that come from outside. Food plays a small part, but mental impressions form a bigger part. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi. Sattva means the mind. Mind becomes pure. Sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. When the mind is pure, memory of one's divine nature becomes constant. We may get a glimpse now and then, but when this state comes, the mind is perfectly pure, that memory remains constant. I am really the Atman. So, sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. Then what happens? Smriti lambhe sarva granthinam vipramokshaha. When this memory comes to you, all bondages completely get destroyed. Whatever bondages were there till then, internal, external, everything is destroyed. True freedom comes, sovereignty comes that way. These are the 3 lines. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi. Sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. Mriti lambhe sarva granthinam vipramokshaha. Granthi is the word for bondage, but a very special word. Its psychological equivalent is the word complex. The mind develops too many complexes. When you take a thread and you handle it, it becomes a knot. Then another knot, then another knot. Ultimately, it's difficult to remove all the knot and make the original thread. So the mind is like this. Simple child's mind. Look at a child, 3 years old. Very simple, very smile is so beautiful, so natural. But after 7 or 8, that changes. A little more artificiality comes in. A little show comes in. All that will come. Mind is getting complexes from various experiences. Especially when you cannot digest an experience, it becomes a complex. If you digest it, it never becomes a complex. You don't have the power to digest experience. And so, by the time you are 60 or 70, so many complexes come in the mind. We are never allowed to remove these complexes. So finally the man becomes a bundle of complexes. Difficult to deal with such people. Some measure of digestion must be there. That's why a little spiritual life can resolve several of these complexes, so that when you are old, you will have very few complexes. But some will remain. Until you realize the truth, some complexes will remain, but they are not so bad. In human relationship, they won't play a part. So that is what we should aim at. This development of complexes must be arrested. A little spiritual strength can do so. You digest it day by day. Like the physical food, you digest. So next day you are free. No toxin in the system. If you don't digest, food becomes toxin. And accumulated toxin makes for disease, physically speaking. Same thing also with respect to the human mind. This mind can remain simple, simple like a child, and yet not foolish like a child, full of experience, full of knowledge. That is the nature of this development. And so, ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi. Sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. Smriti lambhe sarva granthinam vipramokshaha. You completely destroy all the granthis. That is why Ramakrishna often said, a man of spiritual realization He is like a child, 5 years old. Absolutely simple. God is simple, the child is simple. We are complex. We are compound. We are all sorts of things. We are not one single individual. So many individuals we are within ourselves that we can see it every day. Now, all the knots of the heart cut asunder. This idea comes again and again in the Upanishads to describe the nature of spiritual realization. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante jasya karmani, tasmin drishte parabare. When that infinite Atman is realized, what happens? Vidyate hridaya granthi, all the knots of the heart are destroyed. Chidyante sarva samshayaha, all the doubts in the heart also become completely dissolved. Kshiyante jasya karmani, whatever actions you have done, their vasanas, samskaras, all that is also burned out. Tasmin drishte paravare. When you realize the infinite Atman, the same thing putting in the bhakti language, Srimad Bhagavatam will say, drishta eva atmani ishvare. If you realize the Ishvara in your own heart, these results will follow. That is a bhakta's experience. That is jnani experience. The truth is the same. The Ishvara being manifested in one's heart, you become absolutely free. So also realizing your own infinite nature. This is the teaching that Sanat Kumara gave to Narada. Now comes the concluding statement. It's a very, very interesting statement. Tasmai mritita kashayaya tamasasparam darshayati Bhagavan Sanat Kumara. To that Narada, Tasmai, to that person, this Sanat Kumara shows tamasasparam, beyond area of darkness to the world of light. That is language. Tamasasparam darshayati. Narada, this is the world of darkness, ignorance. They just look at there, that is the world of light. You have come to that. Tamasasparam darshayati. Who? Bhagavan Sanat Kumara. This great teacher, Sanat Kumara. Tam Skanda ityashakshate. He has got another name, Skanda. Skanda is the same thing as Subramanya, Muruga, Ayyappa. They all belong to the same spiritual, what you call, category. Tam Skanda ityashakshate. Tam Skanda ityashakshate. He says, he is called Skanda. He is called Skanda. He says, this is the very important chapter ending. From the first up to the last, Narada, full of sorrow, full of emptiness, in spite of scholarship. Then, in the end, Narada is free. He has crossed the ocean of ignorance. He is on the other side, the world of light, world of illumination, world of sovereignty. That is the status of Narada. The whole sloga, ahara shuddhau, sattva shuddhau, dhruva smritihi, mritilambhe, sarva granthinam, vipramokshaha. Tasmai. To that Narada, what kind of Narada? Mridita kashayaya, whose evils had been completely removed. Kashaya is what an Ayurvedic doctor will give you, usually bitter to drink. That's called kashaya. Here it means all the bad samskaras of the mind called kashaya. Mridita kashayaya. All the kashayas have been completely eliminated in the case of Narada. Then tamasasparam darshayati. The other side of darkness, Sanat Kumara shows to that Narada. Earlier Narada would not have seen it. Now the kashayas are all gone. All the impurities of the mind are gone. Therefore he is able to see. Tamasasparam darshayati. Why I do not see? There is kashaya within, evil within. All these petty ideas are within. I am not able to see the truth, but the truth is there. Therefore, this is the only change that is needed. Nobody creates the truth. Truth is there. Only I can't see it, that's all. My eyes are not clear, I can't see the moon. My eyes are clear, I can see the moon. So clear your eyes. Don't worry about the moon. Moon is there. So we The Mahabharata said, here is a mirror. You are not able to see your face in it. And you are crying about it. And the man comes and says, you rub that mirror. It's all very dirty. Make it clean. Then you will see your face. Then he does it. And that is exactly the same. When the mind is clear, the Atman shines. When the mind is not clear, it doesn't shine. See, the language of the mirror, example of the mirror is taken. Rub it, clean it, automatically you see your face. The mind is unclean, impure, clean it, the Atman shines. It is always there. It's a truth. You are not to invent it. You are not to create it. It is there. If you invent it, it ceases to be truth. Truth is always there. One of the finest definitions for truth is given only in Vedanta. Not even modern science is given any such definition. Trikala abhajita is the language used. It is unaffected by time past, time present, time future. That's called truth. Trikala abhajita. Bhajita means affected by. Abhajita, not affected by. So truth is that which was, which is, whichever will be. No change at all. What is untruth then? The very interesting definition given by Chandogya Upanishad of Gaudapada. Adau ante te chayannasti vartamanepi tattatha vitatais satasha santo avitata eva lakshitaha. That which does not exist in the beginning and in the end, only in the middle point it exists, that is as good as non-existing. That's called real false. In the beginning it was not there. In the end it was not there. In between it is there. The immediate present it is there. That thing is called the false. Just like a ghost appeared suddenly here, went away. You call it a ghost. If a real man had come, you would not have called it a ghost. He is Mr. So-and-so. I can meet him again. The ghost you cannot meet a second time. He came and went away. So we call it ghostly. That means it was not there. It was a delusion of your mind, we say. And so, this definition, adau ante, beginning and the end, cha yannasti, that which it doesn't exist. Vartamanepi tattatha, even though it exists for the moment, actually it is non-existent. Mere one second existence is no existence at all. Vitatais sadasha santo. Along with being unreal, we take it to be real. We mistake it to be real. Avitata eva lakshitaha. That is the language used in Chandogya Upanishad. So, truth is defined from that point of view. In physical science, we consider truth of that nature. What is out there, not that you have put it there, not that you have created it there, not that a ghost has done something there, not at all. It is there. Today you go look at it, it is there. Tomorrow you go look at it there. That's called objective truth, as they call it. We are in search of that. No kind of fairies, no kind of supernatural beings, interference we accept. We see things as they are. Vastu tantra jnanam, as Shankara would say. Vastu tantra. Vastu, the thing there. I want to see it, I say, yeah, this is that. The other is Purusha tantra jnanam. I imagine it may be this, it may be that, it may be that, depending upon the state of my mind. That's called Purusha tantra jnanam. Science is Vastu tantra jnanam. Vedanta is Vastu tantra jnanam. The only difference is the field. The sensory field is where we search for the Vastu. The inner life of man is where we seek for that infinite Atman. So, search for the truth in the external world will ultimately lead you to truth in the inner world. And that's what is happening today in physical science. That whatever we see about, we don't see any truth there. We see only appearances. Now, my statement could be strengthened if I quote Einstein on this question. It is quoted by Sir James Jeans in his book, A New Background of Science, 1930, 35. In those days, that book was very popular, The New Background of Science. His first book was Mysterious Universe, small book, Sir James Jeans. Second book is this, The New Background of Science, where he says